for his 5 minutes questioning.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Secretary, it was great to serve with you in Congress. It was an honor, and it's an honor to see you as Secretary of this important department. And let me say on behalf of my state of Texas, thank you for what you've done in a very short period of time. I've worked on this issue as a federal prosecutor, as chairman of this committee for over 25 years. I never saw the border more broken, more chaotic than I did under the prior administration. Yet within months, you have restored order to the border, and the stats speak for themselves. And I want to commend you and President Trump for that. You know, on day one, they rescinded the Remain in Mexico policy, which led to the chaos. It said, we're open for business, come on in. And they did. Over 10 million encounters, 2 million gotaways, yet within months of your administration, that number's gone down 93%. Catch and release. I've been fighting that one for years. The Biden administration did away with it. Now we're decreased to 99.99%, almost zero catch and release, a very dangerous policy. Remain in Mexico has been on the books for 30 years, yet I marked it up on the Foreign Affairs Committee last year as part of the Secure Border Act. Most offensively, and the reason I was an impeachment manager against Mayorkas was his dereliction of duty to basically prioritize allowing aggravated felons into the country, even though Congress, by federal law, said shall detain aggravated felons. Yet, what did he do? He told his agents, that's discretionary. You can release these dangerous criminals into our society. What have you done within months? 50 days. You have 14,000 criminal aliens arrested, some of the most brutal gang members like MS-13 and TDA, and it's making this country safer. Fentanyl. Each year, more Americans die from fentanyl than the number of Americans who died in the Vietnam War over 20 years. You recently had the largest massive seizure of these deadly drugs just this last couple weeks by the Sinaloa cartel. And again, my state thanks you for that. Terrorism. You said 250 known suspected terrorists have been deported. We saw after Afghanistan the debacle of the collapse of Afghanistan when Bagram was shut down, the prisons were unleashed, ISIS-K went to the Khorasan region, crossed into the United States, and 8 were found plotting in this country. You're making this country safer by your actions. The Biden administration made it dangerous, and it didn't have to take a bunch of new laws. It needed new leadership, which you have provided and the president has provided as well. My question to you is, as you know, reconciliation, you need resources, and nobody knows that better than I do. We marked up a bill, about $70 billion that can be put into your department to start enforcing these laws already passed by the Congress. The Foreign Terrorist Organization designation was huge. Let me just ask you this. How will this bill, the reconciliation bill, assist you in your efforts to continue and promote safety in the United States?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate all of your leadership on our national security issues in the past and still continue in the future to focus on that. The reconciliation bill is imperative to our future in securing our nation. For years previous, the Department of Homeland Security has been neglected. It's one of the larger agencies in the federal government with one of the smallest budgets. And certainly under the previous administration, the Coast Guard was hollowed out. Border Patrol and ICE were not allowed to do their jobs. They were not allowed to invest in new technologies that they could utilize for interdiction. Also, our borders need surveillance and technology to make sure that we know who's coming into this country and why. Our ports of entry need new scanners so that we're truly scanning our shipping containers and much of our air freight. We don't know what's coming in by air either. Those kinds of adjustments and technology and software upgrades are needed to compete, but also to secure our country with the threats that we face. And we don't just face threats from gangs and cartels. It's from China and PRC and Iran and hackers that come into our system. Salt and Volt Typhoon have taught us that we're extremely vulnerable to these kinds of attempts in the future. In fact, one of the most alarming things I heard as soon as I was nominated for this position was in a briefing from CISA that told me that they knew with Salt Typhoon that we had been hacked, but they also said they didn't know how it happened or how to stop it in the future. Now, the main goal of CISA is to hunt and to harden our systems, hunt bad actors and harden our systems for our small and medium-sized critical infrastructure. Department of Homeland Security has 10 of the 16 components of critical infrastructure, and that's what we need to focus our resources on.
Thank you.